This video is going to be explaining and reviewing some vocabulary terms that you need to know as we approach this learning target using properties to simplify expressions. If you don't know these vocabulary terms or these properties, it's going to be hard to go forward with the algebra that we're doing. All right, so commutative, associative, distributive, and identity. Let's just go over those pretty quickly. We know about them. We've talked about them a lot. So commutative says 4 plus 4 equals 5 plus 4. When you're adding, you can do multiplication and addition. So it could be, no matter if it's adding or multiplication, it can go either way. 4 plus 5 or 5 plus 4, it's going to be the same thing. Commutative doesn't matter what the order is, but only with multiplication and addition. All right, commutative. Associative means that you can have the order, but if you do things in a different way, so say I have 4 plus 5 times, no, not times, 4 plus 5 plus 6 equals 4 plus 5 plus 6. If I do this first, it's going to be the same as if I do that first. You're grouping, it's the same numbers, all addition, and it doesn't matter what you do first. So same with multiplication, 4 times 5 times 6 equals 4 times 5 times 6. You can do the 4 times 5 first and then times 6, or you could do the 5 times 6 and then times the 4. Doesn't matter how you group them if they're all addition, all multiplication. Associative. Okay, distributive. Now this is where your a number is a number. Here, I kind of like this definition I found. Passing out multiplication to an addition problem. Passing out multiplication to an addition problem. So for example, if I have 5 plus 6, I'm passing out this 4, it's going to multiply everything in there. So it's going to be 4 times 5 plus 4 times 6. Okay, I've passed out the multiplication to each part, and then I add those together. You could do, with a subtraction problem, a subtraction problem is somewhat like an addition problem. So like this, let me show you. 4, if I did 4, and then in parentheses I have 5 minus 6, basically what this is like that. It's 4 and then 5 plus a negative 6. I can always make every subtraction problem into an addition problem. So if I have 3 minus 2, what that is 3 plus negative 2, gonna get me 1. Just like 3 minus 2 gets me 1. Okay? So if I make everything always into an addition problem, then I'm distributing, I'm passing out that multiplication in the addition problem. So 4 to 5. So it'd be 4 times 5 plus 4 times negative 6. Okay? And then I would get the answer that way. So that's distributive. And then the last one, identity. We'll pull this down here. Identity is pretty simple. All it says is anything plus 0 is going to be the other number. For example, 5 plus 0 equals 5. And then you can do it times 1 equals the other number. So if I do 5 times 1 equals 5. So if it's plus 0 or times 1, it's always going to be the other, whatever that is. Okay? That's the identity. So those are some important properties we need to know. Here are some new things we're going to be talking about. And talk talk about these in class. Let's see. Let's talk about term. Term first. Term. There it is. Okay. Parts of an expression. So a term equals parts of an expression separated. Separated by operations or operators. An operator is just like plus, minus, times, divide. Okay? So terms would be, so say for example, I have 12 plus x minus 12x minus 3. Okay? So I'm going to take this all into addition. Go like that, go like that. So I have 12 plus x plus negative 12x plus negative 3. And so all of my terms are the things separated by my operators. Okay? So my terms would be 12 is a term, x is a term, negative 12x is a term, and negative 3 is a term. All right. So those are your terms. Coefficient. A coefficient is a number that is multiplied by a variable. Okay, so by a variable. So if I have 12x, say I have 12x, here's my variable, 12, this right here is considered my coefficient, because it's going to be multiplied by that variable. 3w. W is my variable, 3 is my coefficient. Okay. A constant. A constant is, see how they say it here, a number that does not change, which makes sense. A number that doesn't change. Okay, so it's not hooked up with a variable, because then once you find out what the variable is, that number is going to change. So I'll show you what a constant is when I do a little problem at the bottom here. Like terms, this is really, really important. Two terms that may be added together. Two terms that may be added together. Okay. Now, like terms. We're going to do a lot of things with like terms. And the key here is that also that it can be added together. Okay. So let's look at a problem. We're going to do this. The one problem that I had up here. I had 12. Let's see what it was. 12 plus x. It was minus 12 x plus, or minus, 3. Okay, so say I have this problem. the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure I can put it all into addition. So wherever I see a subtraction, I'm going to make it addition, make that negative. Addition, negative. So now I have 12 plus x plus 12x, negative 12x plus negative 3. Okay? Now, I'm going to use different colors. I'll use orange for my terms. Anything separated by an operation. So this, 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 and this. My terms are going to be 12x, negative 12x, negative 3. Those are my terms. Now, coefficient. I have to have something multiplied by a variable. The only variable I see is right here. This is a variable, but it has a 1 in front of it, so I don't have to worry about that because of the identity property. It's fine. So here, we'll use brown for coefficient. My coefficient is negative 12. That's the only coefficient I have in this expression. Now let's go to constant. Constant is a number that is not going to change. Okay? Negative 3 and 12, those are my constants. They'll always be like it is. This is a variable, and it will change once you find out what the number is. So that one's changing. Once I have this variable here, it'll be times negative 12. That'll change. Negative 3. So basically, your constant is where it's just a number without a variable, basically. Okay? So that's blue. Now, like terms. Like terms. Two terms that may be added together. Now, they need to be the same. They need to be the same. So I have this 12 and this negative 3. Those are like terms. So I can add those together. So 12 plus negative 3. That's going to give me 9. Okay? So I can work to simplify this. I'm going to have 9 there. Then I have an x here and an x here. These can go together because they have the same variable. Same variable. So that makes them like. So I have an x plus negative 12x. So I have a positive x here, and I'm adding that to negative 12x. So that will be negative 11x. So a negative 11x plus 9 is this simplified. I cannot put these together. These are not like terms. And I'll tell you why you can't. You can't do it because of these properties over here. This really is negative 11 times x plus 9. I have a multiplication and a addition, so I can't just rearrange these and put different things together. So I can't put this with this because this is multiplication, this is addition. So it's not, I can't do the associative. I can't mix them around. So they're not like terms. This is what you get. Okay? So we went through a lot here. And we'll do this more in class, but you need to understand these properties and then these terms. Term, coefficient, constant, like terms. And then we'll really start to move forward in simplifying expressions.